Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, July 28th, 2014. The roll will show that all members are present. Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, 11 warrant 14-14, and number 12 adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for approval of agenda as presented. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda approved.
Item 2A under minutes, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held July 14th, 2014.
So moved for July the 14th, 2014.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held July the 14th. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Item 2B, approval of the minutes from the special meetings held July 14th, 2014, 5 o'clock, closed session meeting regarding attorney opinion letter and purchase of real estate. At 5:30 p.m., there's a study session regarding a charter amendment ballot proposal language. 6 o'clock, there was a study session for the Acumed billing service agreement at 6:30. There was a study session for the ordinance amendment regarding Chapter 36, offenses pertaining to minors. At 7 o'clock, there was a study session held regarding the city quarterly investments, and at 7:15, the study session regarding ordinance amendment regarding land split fees. And a motion would be in order to approve the minutes from those special meetings as read on July 14th, 2014.
So moved to approve the minutes from the special meetings as described by Mrs. Craig Bragg. I'll support that.
Been motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting held as the clerk presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is a chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'm going to recognize Council Member Wadsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. I'd like a proclamation for the Romulus Little paper, and if somebody will support me, I'll expand on it. The Romulus Little paper published in our town from July the 15th, 1987 until its final days of July the 15th, 2014. I'd like to give you a little history about the little paper. Its founder, Dave, his name was Atkins, began his paper in 1987. Dave would come here, sit in the crowd. He looked like Clark Kent from Superman. He had a suit on, and he had a brim hat, and he'd sit there with his pad, and he would take notes and take notes. And because of Dave's input, our well, not that it wouldn't happen eventually, but Dave wanted our meetings to be put on cable television. And lo and behold, after about 2 years of him coming up here and talking about the public had a right to listen to what we do and say here, I believe the end of 1989, is when we started putting these on cable. I think at first they were taped and rebroadcast. I'm not positive on that. But then, unfortunately, in 1992, Dave Atkins passed away suddenly. His wife and his daughter, Evelyn Atkins and Christy Stevens, picked up the paper in 1992 and continued to write on a other weekly basis. Sometimes we liked what they wrote, sometimes we didn't, but it was news, and it was Romulus, and it was part of Romulus for 27 years. Unfortunately, because there's some medical issues in the family now, Evelyn and Christy can no longer keep the paper. They made an attempt this past year by just going online, but they said it didn't work. But I want to compliment them on 27 years of keeping the public informed in his town, and I think that paper will be very hard ever to replace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. I also think that the little paper was very important to the community. It informed the community of a lot of things. It was a small paper, but it was a paper that had a lot of good, big news. So that paper will be missed. There, support to Mr. Wadsworth's motion.
I had supported it.
And motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for proclamation for the little paper. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. I'd like to read something from APA, American Progressive Association. It's to the city of Romulus elected officials. Honorable elected officials, on behalf of the American Progressive Association, we would like to thank the city of Romulus elected officials for your attendance at the 2014 Romulus Community Festival, formerly known as Jones Sub Festival, this past weekend. The APA is honored to have your attendance at this event and is grateful for your support to help make the festival a success. We look forward to seeing you again next year at the Romulus Community Festival. Sincerely, Bronson Bell, President, American Progressive Association, and Carolyn Jones, Committee Chairperson. Thank you. The chair at this time would like to recognize the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, council. What I wanted to ask council to do tonight, if we could, we all know we had a tragic accident in our community this last week, and it'd be appropriate if you'd be willing to just allow a moment of silence if we could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
And if I could, what I'd like to do is have Captain Shelby from our police department just come up and make a few comments that he can about this matter. Captain Shelby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The council members, Madam Clerk, Madam Treasurer, members of the audience. Our Director of Public Safety, John Leacher, unfortunately couldn't be here with us tonight due to a vacation, and he asked that I come and speak on behalf of the police department. Mr. Chairman, as you are aware, last week the police department had contact with a young man that unfortunately led to a fatal traffic crash. Because the incident was police-related, and it involved one of our police officers, at our request, the Michigan State Police were called to handle and investigate the entire incident. Right now, they have in their possession all of the evidence, such as the vehicles involved, contents of those vehicles, the Romulus Police Department vehicle, police reports, statements, recordings, 911 radio traffic, etc. And in 20-plus years in law enforcement, I don't know that I have had one of our police cruisers ever impounded by another police agency. But the reason why that happened in these type of incidents is so that it ensures complete and entire openness, transparency, and that there's no way for anything can be tampered with, destroyed, and all the evidence is kept secure and safe. The state police has requested that no one discuss the details of the incident pending their investigation, at which time, when their investigations are completed, that investigation will be returned over to our Director of Public Safety, and he will report back to you those complete results. Also want to touch on real briefly about the vigil that took place for this young man.
Yes, do.
Yes, no problem. I will refer to him as Mr. Gibson. Thank you. The vigil that took place this past week for him on Beverly Road, there was some concerns brought forth by a resident in regards to the road closure. Just to give you a little background on that. Last Friday, police department and our building department were contacted on the same day that this event was supposed to take place to remember Mr. Gibson. The public safety director spoke to the resident who was organizing the event on that Friday afternoon about the request and advised the resident that it would be safer and a more reasonable request if he were to send fire trucks that were manned to be on site with their emergency lights activated, and that the firefighters on site will assist if need be. As you are aware, road closures require a petition to the city council and are generally made well in advance so that we have ample time to prepare, as well as giving the DPW ample time to deliver the proper signage, barriers, and blockades that may be needed. Unless it is deemed a safety or other hazardous matter, such a road with electrical wires down or a serious traffic accident, it is generally unsafe, and a bad public safety practice to close roads in the evening hours, particularly when it's very dark, without proper notice to the residents who live in the community, especially for a road closure request to take place on the same day. So we believe that the safest and proper course of action, although not the best, is what the public safety director decided to do, which was to have high visibility and well-lit emergency equipment, such as manned fire trucks, staged at the location, so that would grab the attention of passerbyers and pedestrians traveling through the area, which would thus make it safer for all the residents in the particular area. And just on the last note, I would like to say that I and the public safety director met with Mr. Gibson's grandmother and his father, and we spoke. Sorry, who was it? I'm sorry, stepfather. Thank you. We met with them in the office at the police department, and we also expressed our condolences to the family. I'm sorry?
You told me to just go make funeral arrangements. That's what you told me.
I'm sorry if you perceive my remarks.
No, I'm telling you the way you said it.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the police department, we did express our condolences to the family, and that's what we're looking at. Thank you.
Is there
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to have him bring that forward to council. We will get back to you with the complete investigation. And also, I want to pass on my condolences to the family and all those that were involved. Thank you.
If there's no more questions from the council, that concludes the chairman's report.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. McCoskey.
move that we accept the report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. McCoskey, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Yes. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, treasurer, clerk, and audience. Under my report tonight, brought a quick quote. This one actually comes from Proverbs 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man does sharpen another. Pick that quote because yesterday Parks Memorial AME Church had a men's program where they were, it was actually sponsored by their men's club, and they were recognizing men. And that was kind of the message that they used in that. And basically the message, which I attended, I know our chairman, Mr. Barden, attended. There were some other regional and national figures that were there. It was a good message. It was basically, as men, or as a society, we need to lift each other up and lift where someone has a strength, help someone who has a weakness, and vice versa. So I thought it was a good message. I appreciate the invite from Parks Memorial AME Church. It was a great service, very inspiring, and they put on quite a program. A couple other quick things that I do want to do in my report before I get to the one business item. Unfortunately, I do want to ask council for a memorial resolution for the family of Emma Jean Anderson, if we could, please.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
That is Vonda Cooley's mother, and it'd be appropriate to give them a resolution from council, and keep their family in your thoughts and prayers, please.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for memorial resolution for Emma Jean Anderson. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, council. On another note, very positive note, what I'd like to do at this time is we've often recognized some Eagle Scouts, and what I'd like to do is welcome up Ben Mack and his troop to come up to the podium. And I would like Ben as the most recent Eagle Scout recipient, which is a huge success and honor, and have him tell just a little bit about his project, because it did impact the city, and any comments or questions we may have from council. And then, if you would, possibly entertain a motion recognizing his achievement. Come on up, Ben. Good evening. Just wanted to say congratulations on, is it number 18 of Eagle Scouts for 872? 18, which is quite an accomplishment for the troop. Can you just give the council and audience a brief description of your Eagle project, please?
Yeah, up at the senior center, we kind of adopted that site for our troop and our Eagle Scouts. Previously, one of our scouts put in gardening boxes, but they were all the way on the ground. And Wayne and I, when we were brainstorming for an idea for a project, we decided that we should have some wheelchair accessible gardening boxes so that opportunities are equal. So I was talking with one of the building inspectors, Mr. Winginka, and we came up with this plan to make 2 raised gardening boxes, so we did it. We put down a slab of concrete, and then on top of it we put 2 4x8 gardening boxes.
Awesome. Congratulations. If we could give him a round of applause for his achievement. If council has any other questions or comments, I would appreciate if we could do a resolution recognizing him and his achievement of Eagle Scout.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. McCoskey.
I would be honored, as soon as I know Ben's last name, to, I'm sorry, what is it? Mack.
What's his last name?
Mack.
Ben Mack.
Got it. Okay, I would be very honored to ask for a resolution to recognize Ben's achievements.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. McCoskey, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for a resolution for Ben Mack. Ms. McCoskey?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Congratulations.
Thank you, council. Thank you, congratulations, Ben. One point of information to pass along, did get a contact by Wayne County Department of Public Services, and to let the public know they're doing some heavy maintenance work on Pennsylvania Road between I-275 overpass and Warman Road. That started today and is going to continue on in parts of Romulus and Huron Township through the rest of the week. So I know we have a lot going on with roads. We want to get the roads fixed. We want to get overpasses fixed. Unfortunately, a lot of times when they're all happening simultaneously, it can make traffic challenging, so be aware of that area. And then the one item for visits that I had under my report, if you could, is 5A. And what I have is a request to concur with the administration and approve a sub-recipient agreement between the City of Romulus and the APA Thomas J. Coleman Center for the expenditures for their allocation of $36,000 for proposed community park and building repairs.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the sub-recipient agreement, City of Romulus, Wayne County CDBG program for the Thomas J. Coleman Center in the amount of $36,000.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, to concur with the administration and approve the sub-recipient agreement between the City of Romulus and the APA Thomas J. Coleman Center for expenditures of their allocation of $36,000 for the proposed community park and building repairs. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I just want to, no real discussion other than thank you to the APA Thomas Coleman Center for revitalizing the community, being part of that, and taking ownership to make great things happen. So we're very pleased and happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. Mr. Chair and Council, before I address the items on, under my report, I have a few things that I would like to ask Council to take action on, if I may.
Sure.
The first thing is I'm asking for a memorial resolution in honor of Louise Brioty. Louise had a 12-year battle with cancer, and on July 14th, she made her transition. Louise worked over 40 years with the school district, and she worked at the high school, and she worked at the board office. She was just a delightful lady, and she was involved a lot in our community. One of the things she did was the Martin Luther King Day celebration, and she did the programs and things. So I had the privilege of working with her, you know, the 12 years that I was an employee at Romulus Schools, and so she will be missed. And so if the council would adopt a resolution, entertain a resolution, a memorial resolution in honor of Louise Brioty.
So moved. Support.
Been motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for memorial resolution for Louise M. Brioty. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I have a second request for memorial resolution, and this is for Zephyr Elazy. He is the owner of the Time Restaurant, which is formerly the Ale House. His son and daughter-in-law, Queedam and Farika, they're the managers, and they run the restaurant. But Mr. Elazy had owned a lot of property here in Romulus, and so he too had a long battle, a long illness, and if the council would, just for the family, adopt a memorial resolution for Mr. Elazy.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, for memorial resolution for Ms. Elacy. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Also, Mr. Chair and Council, I just want to make mention, Mr. Chair, you read a letter from the president of the APA, Mr. Bell.
Right.
He also sent a letter addressed, in addition to the elected officials, but also to the mayor and his administration, thanking them for their participation and support of this year's Romulus Community Festival. So,
Thank you.
with regards to election, I just want to announce, particularly for those who plan to vote an absentee ballot, the clerk's office will be open this Saturday from 8 to 2 o'clock. At that time, that's the last opportunity you will have to request a ballot sent to you by mail. After that, all ballots after 2 p.m. Saturday must be voted in the clerk's office. And also, again, if you've just recently requested a ballot or you do plan to vote absentee ballot, just want to remind the voters that August 5th is the primary election, and it is a partisan primary, which means that you can only cast your vote for the party of your choice, Democrat or Republican. If you cross parties there, then that race in which you've crossed parties will not count, or your ballot will be rejected. So we want to make sure that you do understand that you must vote a straight party ballot. There is one nonpartisan race on the ballot. Also, we have 3 proposals on the ballot. So, and it's a 2-sided ballot, so we want to make sure that you all are aware of that. Again, if you do plan on voting an absentee ballot, if you have questions or anything, please give us a call. Our office hours are from 8 to 4 o'clock p.m. Monday through Fridays, and our telephone number is 734-942-7540, and you can always log on to our website for further information regarding elections. And with that, Mr. Chair, I do, under my report, I do have a request from Virginia Williams to speak to council regarding line item 6A4.
6A.
6A4, yes. Okay. 6A1, for second reading and final adoption of the city ordinance, Chapter 36, offenses, Article 9, offenses pertaining to minors. This is for second reading, and this ordinance amendment was introduced at the council meeting of July 14th, 2014.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
I'd
Ms.
like
Cho.
to make the motion that we grant second reading and final adoption of City Ordinance Chapter 36, offenses, Article 9, offenses pertaining to minors.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Cho, supported by Ms. Makowski, for second reading and final adoption of City Ordinance, Chapter 36, offenses, Article 9, offenses pertaining to minors. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth. Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2, for second reading and final adoption, is City Ordinance, Chapter 54, Section 185, and that's to provide that council may, by resolution from time to time, establish fees for applications for land splits. This ordinance amendment was introduced at the council meeting of July 14th, 2014.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
if I may, I move that we grant second reading and final adoption of the city ordinance, Chapter 54, Section 185, for the land splits.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for second reading and final adoption of City Ordinance, Chapter 54, Section 185, to provide that council may be resolution from time to time to establish fees for the application for land splits. Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A3, request approval of traffic control order, and there is a recommendation from the Romulus Police Department Traffic Bureau in conjunction with the Romulus Fire Department.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms.
I'll
Roscoe.
make that motion that we approve the request of the traffic control order.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Makowski, for request approval of the traffic control order. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
one thing I want to note here is I'd like to thank the Fairways at Gateway Community Association. They actually requested the traffic study. This is just one more great example of improvements that occur based on the attention of our citizens. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A4 requests council approval for reworded ballot language to amend City Charter, Chapter 13, Sections 1 and 2, to place on the November 4th, 2014 ballot. And we do have a request to speak on this particular agenda item. And as you recall, on July 14th, we had brought the ballot language to you to approve for the November ballot. And everything was sent to the Attorney General. So the Attorney General's office is recommending, changing a few words around to word it a little bit differently for the November ballot. And there is time, but any changes must, requires council approval. So that's why we're bringing this back to you off of the recommendation of the Attorney General. And I don't know if you, at this time, do you want to call up the request to speak before you take action?
Who made that request?
Virginia Williams.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Williams?
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Clerk, Treasurer, Virginia Williams. I would just like to know, is the city asking, or the clerk or the Charter Commission asking to get rid of the bidding process?
No.
Not to put it in the paper for the residents to be aware of what contracts you're accepting?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
The request that came through the Charter Commission and to council and through the clerk's office was just strictly on the publication of those bids. The bidding process still stays the same, but according to the charter, it specifically says that you have to publicize. As you know, a lot of bidding is done electronically and other means, so it came through our purchasing manager as a suggestion for improvement to do business kind of up to date versus it was when it was established in 1970. But ultimately, to have any of those changes has to go before the voter.
I totally understand that, Mr. Burkhoff. I understand that any changes to the charter have to go to the voter. What I'm saying is before you bring it to the voter. This document says, it be further resolved that the charter of the City of Romulus, City Charter, Section 13.1 and 13.2 will be amended to read as followed: by the removal of the requirements of advertising for sealed proposals in the paper circulation within the city. So I ask again, are you asking to put this on the ballot that you do not have to put it in the papers? I'm talking to council, please.
If I may, just from my recollection of the Charter Commission and their recommendation, this would save money and expedite communications. That means that we wouldn't just be limited, but we don't have to put it in just the paper first. We can publicize it through the internet or other quicker communications. So they're really looking to expedite the communication, not cut out and do anything without citizens knowing.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is what this says. And if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to take it out of the paper, put it on the website or a flyer or leafage or whatever you're going to do, why wouldn't you say it? Because we have a tendency for those that we put in office to tell us one thing. Once we go to the polls and vote for it, it's something else. So you have to, whether you get upset about it or not, I'm going to ask questions. And whether we have an audience or not, I ask questions because I want to know what's going on in my city. So I ask again, you say save money. Every time y'all ask for something, y'all say y'all saving money. And it's something different. So are you going to put it in the paper? Can you put that in writing that we know that's what you're going to do? Because you're asking the residents to vote on it in November, right?
So I think it would be fair to make sure that the residents know what they're voting on.
Mr. Barden?
Yes, Ms. Choate.
No.
Ms. Choate has it.
This is the proposal that will go in on the ballot. According to state statute and the election law, the maximum amount of words that you can use in a proposal on the ballot for a local election is 100 words. You have to just put this in 100 words, and it says, one of the things it says in the paper instead of saying newspaper, because that eliminates one word so that you can have another word if you have to use that. And it's not to eliminate any advertising or any newspapers that they wish to advertise in. According to the charter, you can, in addition to advertising in newspaper, it says that the council and the city can advertise by any other means that they feel is necessary for their request for their proposals or their request for bids. So we're not changing the fact that we will not ask for bids. We're just trying to condense this into the number of words that the state permits, or election law permits.
Linda, again, you was clerk long enough to know better. I can understand English. This says, I mean, seriously, this says that you want to remove from being advertised. So can you promise the residents before November that you will have an obligation to make sure that the residents is aware?
The residents will be made aware, yes,
How?
they will. Well, we have to decide how they're going to do it. We're only approving this resolution to be placed on the agenda for November, but we will have decided how they're going to do that.
Like I said.
According to the charter, which was adopted in 1960, they didn't even think about being able to advertise with the computers. We didn't have computers. Now they can, it goes online, it goes into many areas electronically. The newspaper, the little paper, as you just heard, is no longer publishing in this town. There are very few other papers that we can put it in. For instance, we could put a small article in the Free Press. That will cost us several $1,000s. We can never use the Free Press because of the expense. We oftentimes can't use the News Herald because of the expense. We only used the little paper called the Romulus Roman. We used that one because the expense was considerably less. And we used the little paper, which was a free paper. Little paper is no longer here. Romulus Roman is very few of those distributed around here anymore. So as long as we have to do exactly what the charter says as far as publication goes, there are very few people that can read that they have access to that paper. So if we can go online with the computer, there will be a lot more people that will be able to bid on this process. That's what we're asking for.
And my concern is that just like our governor, Governor Snyder, he wants to get rid of the personal property tax and spread it across that everyone pays their fair share. Well, this is not a time to add to the burdens of the residents of Michigan. So, he got a bunch of rhetoric, making it sound good, colorful paper, making it look good, to trick the people. And so I ask you, as elected officials, because when we put people in office, and I think it's a major problem with residents all over the state of Michigan, matter of fact, all over the United States, we have to stop putting people in office and not holding them accountable. Okay? We need to stop only seeing politicians when it's the election time. Okay? I believe that from the heart. I'm not saying it because you guys are over there and I'm over here, because I'm doing the same thing I was doing before I ran for council. Okay? And I'm not going to stop because it's a God movement. The people need a voice. We don't need the politicians to say we're going to speak for you while they're running. and then they get quiet as a mouse once they sit down. And it takes the residents to tell each other what's going on in the city, okay? Through the chair, I ask that the mayor do not respond. I'm not in the mood. I'm too emotional. I don't need to hear none of his rhetoric. I'm talking to the council, those that have a vote. I'm serious. I appreciate it because my heart is aching. And I'm only asking a question whether anybody in here would have been here tonight. I would have asked the same questions and every last one of y'all know it. So I'm not trying to show off. I want to know what you're doing. And I have a responsibility to ask you before you vote. Simple as that. I understand most of you don't like me. It doesn't matter whether you don't like me. It's the business of the city. And I ask that all these residents that's here, don't go away. Continue to be involved. Continue to not only come here, but continually to go to the school boards. Because we only hear from the city and the schools when it's a millage. You pick our mayor, pick certain people out of the community that he can dangle like a puppet, okay? That's what he do. I don't say nothing. I'm talking to council. I mean it from the heart. This is not a game. It's not. It's not a game. It's not a game. So I ask that the council, before you vote, make sure if the Attorney General sent it back and said some words need to be changed, maybe you need to reconsider the whole thing, because if you're going to take it out of publication, if you're going to take it where you don't have to advertise it, that's not transparency. And that's all I ask. Regardless how you guys feel, that's how I feel.
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
Virginia, I compliment you for coming and getting involved, but the bottom line is the public, including myself and you and the rest of us, we will have a chance to speak on this November the 4th.
Right, I understand that, Mr.
No ifs,
Wadsworth.
ands, buts about that. I mean,
Right.
we're not saying that this is taking effect tonight.
I understand that.
And I'm
and
sure
I'm not
there'll be-
confused about it. I'm not confused. I know it has to come to the
Julia,
ballot.
let me finish. And I know that there'll be sample ballots of this, and concerned people a lot like yourself, I'm sure will make sure these ballots are read long before they go to the polls.
Thank you, Ms. Wadsworth. And like I said, I'm not confused about the process of it. What I'm saying as elected officials, our council, not our clerk, not our treasurer, not our mayor, because you guys are the only ones have a vote. Just make sure that when you vote, you're voting for what's best for the residents in the city, not for someone that don't even have a vote wants you to vote. And I say that from the heart. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Council have any more? Any discussion from council?
No, treasurer's report.
Okay, we continue.
Mr. Chair, we need you to,
We need a motion.
we need a motion on
Need
the
a
floor.
motion on the,
Mr. Chairman?
yes,
I would be happy to make the motion that we approve the reworded ballot language to amend the city charter, which is Chapter 13, Sections 1 and 2, to place on the November 4th ballot.
Support.
motion by Ms. Mrs. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, for council approval for reworded ballot language to amend city charter, chapter 13, section 1 and 2, to place on the November 4th, 2014 ballot. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. That concludes the clerk's report. 6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, and audience. I do not have anything to report tonight. Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of our meeting where those in the audience, if you would like to address council with comments, you may do so at this time. If you have not submitted a written request, that we ask that you raise your hand after you've been acknowledged by our chairperson. You ask that when you're coming to the podium that you state your name, and that please limit your remarks to 3 minutes so that everybody will have an opportunity to speak. Mr. Chair and Council, we have 3 written requests. The first one is from June Morgan.
Yes, Ms. Morgan.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Moore.
My name is June Morgan, and I've been a citizen of Romulus for 9 years.
Use the microphone.
Ms. Morgan,
I'm
speak,
sorry.
it's kind of directional, just, okay,
I've
thank
been a citizen of Romulus for 9 years, and we're having some issues within our community and altercations. And when we call the Romulus Police Department, they come out or they may not come out, and their advice is to present it to the city council. They informed us of they had budget cuts and they don't have enough officers to address the residents' concerns. And my problem is, one problem was within the firework ordeal. Fireworks was raining down on my head and on my vehicles. When I walked down there, I could have been wrong, and I know I was. I walked down there and I witnessed one of my neighbors, who is the homeowner, they were lighting the fireworks in the vacant house in the backyard. She was over the fence collecting the empties. So I was livid, I was ignorant to the fact, and I approached her for condoning that behavior. The situation escalated, the police come out, and that's when they informed us of showing up for the council meetings. Another issue that we have within the, on my street is there's 50 teenagers or young adults. They do what I did when I was young. I don't want to have no discrepancies with the teenagers. My biggest concern is that where are their parents? And someone's going to get hurt. So I literally waste energy, and I try to follow them when they walk past my house. I wait 5 minutes, and I stalk them just to find out where they live to speak with their parents. I seen a young man who was in here tonight. My husband and I were sitting on our porch, and he's a neighbor, and he decided, he lives on the side street, we're on the corner lot. He decided to take a Uzi, BB gun, which looks like a Uzi, and he's shooting our fence while we're sitting on our porch. We had to go approach that situation. I just want the city council to know that I'm gonna protect my house, my property, and my effects, and that they need to address that issue within the community. I don't know where these kids are coming from. I don't know if they're young adults, but when I see them doing grown behavior, I may mistake them for being an adult. So I want, if the city has a budget, I would like for them to have more officers within my community before someone gets hurt. My biggest concern is it's a child to me. My concern is for their families and their parents. And my concern is why the police cannot address my issues and concerns when I pay over $3,000 in taxes a year. And that's just a few of my issues, and I'm gonna leave it to someone else to share their concerns with you. My issues is more on a personal level with my neighbors who are homeowners. It wasn't nothing like this last year, and this year I'm losing sleep. This year I'm losing sleep. And I'm losing sleep amongst these neighbors who is only 2 doors this way, 2 doors that way, and I'm not having it. They've been there longer than me, but I have 9 years invested. I have 9 years invested, and I'm not gonna stand for them not to be a voice in their own household. And I'm not gonna stand for them to let these kids come from everywhere. What it reminded me when the police department told me that they lost their budget, and he said they didn't have officers to respond. I heard that from Inkster Police, and if that's where Romulus is headed within a police department, y'all got trouble on your hands. You got major trouble. It was a baby shot and killed in Inkster. It was a baby shot and killed. And I don't want to be the person who shoot and kill somebody's innocent baby. And I just wanted you guys to know that, and I took time out of my day and my evening after working 13 hours a day to address the concern.
Ms. Gibson, what is your address?
My address is 15832 Isabel. I'm on the corner of Isabel and Hale Creek.
Okay.
And Romulus Police Department, when he came out for the fireworks falling on my head like little gravel or little rocks, and I heard it hitting my cars and hitting the house. We had a house fire on the corner of Romulus. And we could have because we like the community and we don't have problems in Romulus until this year, We hate so badly that we didn't decide to just tear the house down, leave you the land, and move someplace else. We have big regrets for investing back into our home. For the police not to respond in a timely manner. They do not respond. We have the animal control complaining about our dogs every year. Well, when our beagles bark in the back of our homes, we caught a guy going down a vacant house with a dolly and an central air unit. My husband hollered out the back window. He decided to run the air unit back in the yard and take off with the dolly. Romulus police responded, but this was 7-8 months back. It has changed. And when our dogs is barking, that means somebody is out there prowling. If it's 12, 1 o'clock, waking us up. Dogs bark, and that's their job, is to bark. And we're tired of them. We're tired of them and their complaints about a dog barking. That's what they do. And that's what you have them for. They're supposed to give you warning that somebody is invading your premises or your neighbor's premises. And that's what they do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbs. Yeah.
John,
Ms. Abdo.
can we have someone take her name and number and look into the
Yeah,
allegations?
he was writing it
He's
down
writing
right
it
over
down.
here.
You've got that
so-
down?
Yep.
Because the allegations are pretty serious, of saying that, you know, if our police officers are saying that we don't have the funds, I'd like to
Yeah.
follow up on that.
Yeah, I'd like to know where that comes from also, because as council knows, we approved the budget and there
Yeah,
haven't
we
been any
approved the
cuts,
budget
so
for them to help you. So who has?
we captured the address and name for Miss Morgan, and we'll
All
follow
right,
up with
as long
them.
as someone checks into it.
Mr.
Thank
Wadsworth.
you.
Just a quick comment, as a retired police officer of 38 years, that's the last thing should come out of any police officer's mouth that goes to take a run, and that should be the same for our fire department or DPW. It's not the public's problem that with the budget is our problem. This police department is funded quite well. I can't condone the comment that this woman got about, budget cuts. They have no right to make them comments if they were made.
Okay.
The next person requesting to speak is Dwayne Morgan.
Mr. Morgan.
Mayor and,
Mr. Morgan, speak. It's kind of directional. Just hold it up. Speak.
Right.
Pull it up. And,
okay, I'm Dwayne Morgan, and good morning to the residents too. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on what my wife has said. Actually, excuse me, my parents and everything, I worked all day.
You fine.
But yes, we talked to a couple of the officers, and they said that they only have 5 on the staff, and that's not enough for the whole city of Romulus. I mean, I don't know if we have to have the state that come in and help us like they do Inkster, but it's unacceptable. I mean, we have a lot of young adults. Not all of them is like that, but it's a lot of unruly ones, and we have a couple of consultations with them, and no one wants to get hurt or hurt anyone or do anything that they should do. But like my wife said, we pay a lot of money for our property. We do love Romulus. The thing is, we didn't want to leave, but at this point, we're looking elsewhere, to sell our property because we don't have the support that we had when we once came here. So I'm hoping that it's something that can be done that can help us, think about this and still stay in Romulus, because I really like Romulus. I don't have any problems with, the staff and the police that they have. It's just right now they're saying they're understaffed, and when we called, it was really a bad consultation, and it could have got out of hand, and it took them almost a half an hour to get there. So, and he said he only had 5 officers, 5 squad cars in the whole city of Romulus. So that's unacceptable, especially when we're paying a lot of taxes. And I do appreciate you guys for letting me share. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Mr. Gibbs.
The next request is coming from Betty Dultz.
I'm a little nervous because I've never, ever done anything like this before, but I live right across from Mr. and Mrs. Morgan. I live on the corner of Forestdale and Isabel. The fireworks, as of last night, were continuing. The incident that they're referring to happened the Monday after the 4th of July. Now, I'm not talking just little firecrackers. I'm talking M80s. And this is going on every night. Okay? The kids hang on the corner. I can't sit in my living room and watch TV without listening to these children or young adults all night long. The incident that they're referring to took 7 phone calls to the police department before 2 officers arrived. They told me myself they're understaffed. There's only 2 cars on at night, and Romulus is a 32 square mile city. So if they're at one end, they've got to come all the way to the other end. Well, I think, like I said, it took like over 40 some odd minutes for them to get there. That to me is unacceptable. The taxes in Romulus are high enough. It's just, we can't even get them to drive by. I mean, we have 2 vacant houses. They've broken the fences of both of these houses. Now someone's finally doing something with one of the houses, so they've just moved down to the next house. They sit on the curbs. My yard after the 4th of July looked like I had a party in it. You could still go in my front yard and still find debris from the fireworks, because I'm just not going to pick it up. I picked up some of it and I walked it across the street and gave him his garbage. Did he offer to come and pick it up? No. Should he have? Yeah. But I really think that somebody on this board should at least instruct the police department that they need to make more drive-bys through that neighborhood. Because like I said, the seal in my front window is now busted from all the fireworks. It's just, to me, it's unacceptable.
What is your address again? What's your address?
287234 Forestdale.
And what was the name again, just for the record, so we can make sure we follow up with you?
Betty. Last name is Dultz, D-U-L-T-Z.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last written request.
Okay, are there any other comments from the audience? Okay. I think I see in the blue, Ms. First. Hello.
My name is Myron Camp. There's a problem. I too have a problem, and it's with the police office, with the police department. Maybe we could send someone once that's out here harassing the youth over to their neighborhood. Every day, I'm hearing from another youth that something the Romulus Police Department has done to them. They're not even making arrests. They're just harassing these young men. And I want to know, what are you guys going to do about the overzealous police department? What's going to be done? I mean, I probably have right now about 12 complaints. Here's one of them in my hand from the youth. So I want to know, what are you guys going to do about it? We elected you guys. If I have to come out and protect them, or if some of us grown men have to come out and protect these young boys, oh, you will have a problem. You know what I'm saying? So what are you guys going to do? I'm giving you an opportunity right now to handle it. So I spoke my piece. I expect to hear something from you guys doing something about this problem. When a police could come and detain a young man, handcuff him, but nothing. Talking about he's loitering. He's leaving out of the party store and talk to a friend for a hot second. And then they blame it on the city council. So they're blaming it on you. Oh yeah, a city council member drove past the store and said, hey, there was too many youth out there loitering. I go up there, I always see 2 or 3 hemmed up at a time. So that's not a party. I mean, that's not a group. So what are you guys going to do? That's, you know, you guys have anything, you know, I'm quite sure you heard about this before. So I'm not even speaking of the incident that happened the other day. I will, but later. But as of right now, what are you guys going to do? Because it looks like a weak city council, a weak city. This is not the 60s. This is not the 70s. You know, it's a new day. What are you going to do? So I'm going to leave it right there with you. I'll be back.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, audience. Jan Lemon, lifetime resident of Romulus. First of all, for those who did not hear, Captain Shelby is sitting right over here making notes of everybody's complaints. He will be taking it to John Leacher, I'm sure. Okay, I'd like to say a word, Mr. Wadsworth, about the newspaper. When we had this little newspaper, in 2009, Dave Gorgon started putting articles in there for us about the cemetery. If it wouldn't have been for this little newspaper, we would not have reached as far as Berkeley for help, and we did. Romulus was not the only place this newspaper went. When I would go to stores in Taylor and I'd run into people who lived in Taylor, they'd say, "Oh, Jan, I read about the article in the cemetery." So that little paper reached a lot of communities. And I think it's sad that we do not have it. And I wish good luck to both of the ladies who ran that paper. I'd like now to thank the administration for seeing that the 3 new trees in the cemetery are getting watered. They lost two of them lost all their leaves, but they now have them back because of the water. The cemetery is now being mowed from corner to corner, inside and outside, and they're doing a fabulous job. They really are. We're going to continue to work. The cemetery board meeting is tomorrow night at 4:30 here in the chambers. And for those who have any issues they'd like to discuss, please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the young lady here. We'll go this side, and then we'll go back to this side.
Okay, hi, Council. My name is Jasmine Harmon, and I heard the guy talk, and he said that the guys are getting harassed by the police department. I actually was pulled over. An officer, an African-American man, he put his lights on, he flicked me, and he tried to talk to me, tried to get my number. He put his lights on, I pulled over, stopped, and he put on the side of me. He tried to talk to me in my neighborhood, Fairways at Gateway. And I didn't even think anything of it. I mean, I told him my age, and he, kind of freaked out. And then he was just like, "Okay, you can go about your business." And I didn't even understand. Like, I'm 17. I didn't know that. I didn't even think anything of it. But I didn't know that it's not okay that police officers are using their authority to do things like that. So that's all. You guys should do something about that.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know the officers' names, but I can point them out anywhere because I came in contact with him twice before.
Can you give him your address and
Okay.
name? Yeah, okay.
Okay, my address is 32841 Augusta Court, AUGUSTA Court.
Okay.
And it's Romulus, Michigan, at Fairways at Gateway.
Thanks a lot, man. Right here. We're going back and forth.
First off, I want to say rest in peace, Armani. Second off, my name is Willie Claiborne. I moved out here in 2008. I didn't have no family, so I made one. Armani was in my family. And past last week, I don't know, it's this Armani spirit in me, I don't know. He gave me the courage to do this right now. You know, I'm holding it up for him. So, you know, 7/24/14, the day he died, the night before, he called me at 1:05. He died 10 minutes after. It hurt my soul to know that I might have been the last person he talked to. So I just wanted to know that what y'all officer did was really that serious. For him to be like that, man, it's messed up. Because every day I look at our strong black fellas right here, and I'm young, I'm 19 years old, and we all strong. You know, we conquering the best right now, and he was on his way. And I was supporting him through whatever, you know, because that's my family, that's blood, no matter what, you know. And just to see that he died over something like as harassment, that's all it is. You know? Yeah, now I gotta deal with this and watch his little brothers, his mom, you know, go through the pain and suffering that I also feel too. So I just want y'all to put this in your hearts and support us on this, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Who is that?
Hello, Council, everybody else. My name is Nakia Johnson. I'm here too because I'm fed up with the abuse of power by our police, by our elected officials. One incident in particular with the police, I've been sitting back and I've been off work for a while. I usually work all the time. But I've been sitting back and I stay in Birch Run and I watch them. That's why I'm like, where do y'all stay at? Because it do not go down like that. Kids can't even sit in the car without the police being called on them. They can't stand on the corner and talk without them being called on in our neighborhood. And I sit back and watch these boys all the time, and they not disrespectful. If I say move your car, do whatever, don't nobody look at me like, what you talking about, you know, or nothing like that. They do exactly what I say. If I give them respect, these babies have no, or young adults, young youth, young men, young women have no problem giving it back. But they need to get it, and they're not getting it. I've seen them pulled over and harassed. I've even seen my son pulled over and harassed by a cop, E. Smith, before, a little short cop. And he was real disrespectful to me, and I just pulled up and stood back and watched him. And he, what you want? You know, and flicking his lights and shining them on me while I sat in my car, and laughing and giggled and called me a crazy woman. So, and my son, not too long ago, walking home from the store, they got somebody in the back seat, and they said it to me. City officials are telling us to watch them loitering up here at the store. Well, half of them stay on both sides of the store. It's townhouses. And it's a lot of young youth in there. And not even so much young. Some of them like 25 to 30 getting harassed, but they might look younger. My son was, his name called out on the loudspeaker while he walking home. He like, Mama, he been harassed so much. Why they calling me? Why they calling my name? He don't even know. He come home and he shouldn't feel scared, harassed, like he got to come home and get me like before they lock me up or do something to me just because they called his name. Now, if he wasn't being harassed, he not crazy. He know when he being harassed. He would have stopped and talked, what you want me for? But it's not like that. They pulled him over, they stopped him all the time. And it's ridiculous, and we tired of it, and we fed up. And I want to say to y'all, if y'all fed up, get out and vote. Because these are the people that sit up, and these are the people who give them the power that they have to do what they do, and tell them what to do, and let them get away with what they doing to y'all. So y'all have to get up and vote. Y'all have to get out. Y'all 18, I mean, you know, and you got to do it for the people coming up behind you, the young youth. And we don't want this incident to happen, like how they called my son. Had he been walking past an officer that's feeling a little too froggy that day, and well, why you won't talk to me and try and grab him up or something? I don't want a New York incident where they wrestling my son on the ground. He don't even have nothing on him, and a knee in his neck, and he dead. Because somebody felt real cocky that day because they had a gun and a badge on. It don't make sense. He got rights. And if you respect them, and if you want respect, we all know we not two. You got to give it to get it. and they got rights too. And to let y'all know, we are putting a seminar together to teach y'all rights, and we will let y'all know. And I really want all y'all to come out. So you have to know your rights. You do have rights. If I'm a passenger and my driver's okay, I ain't got to show you my ID. You do have rights, you know, and y'all, it's important that everybody know. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janet Harmon. I happen to be the mother of this lovely young lady, Jasmine. And I was just made aware of that incident with the police officer, which I add might not ever happen again. I'm going to follow up through with it. And I came to council last year regarding an incident that happened on, I think it's Delano or something like that, where her friends gave her a birthday party and the police literally pulled over every car that came down the street, had the young men get out, threatened to impound their car. They had no reason to pull them over. And I spoke with John Leacham, is that his last name? And someone was supposed to be following up. Today is what, July 28th? I haven't received a response yet, and I'm looking forward for that. But I had a few things I wanted to address. That's just one minor. You talked about the, where do we find the July 14th reports that you guys mentioned under 6A? How do we get copies of that? Because I want to know in detail what these sections are and what you're talking about so I can know what we're voting on. I want to know about the approval of what traffic control. Because I'm wondering if it's the traffic control where I was just pulled over stating that I was speeding at 55 miles per hour and I ran a stop sign, yet my car does not accelerate that fast from Merriman to Henry Ruff, and that I was able to see exactly, I stopped, bent my head all the way over to see what was going on in that park when they were cutting down the trees. I need to know about that. I also want to know about the little paper. If this paper is so important to council and this community, you have enough of my taxpayer money. She said we lived in Gateway, 51 cents on the dollar, whatever it is now, I play penny. And even if I'm not, the taxes, because the houses has flipped, you still have enough of my past monies that you guys can save this newspaper. It's a lot you can do with these tax monies, okay? That was another thing. I also want to know, Armani Gibson was my daughter's best friend. She had two, one male, one female. While we're loosely giving out these memorial resolutions, can we get one for him? Armani was 18 years old. He worked. He was an honor student. He was on his way to Western Michigan University. He was going to be a neurologist. This is not just some kid that happened to be out. This little boy, young man, was very respectful. And I'm asking also, outside the resolution, can we also have a police, family, if I'm stepping out of line, but I want a police escort for his funeral. And I also want, I want his candlelight visual. I want it redone, and I want it done right. I want him to be respected as he respected me and everybody, all these kids. He was the go-to for some advice. I see all the turning. I don't know you, half the people. I know a couple of you. But when the election comes up, and it's time for these kids to vote, I'm going to be campaigning for them to vote. I recognize a few faces, and I'm sure you recognize mine, and it doesn't matter to me, but something has to change. And I'm also concerned about the ballot and the information you said that, I don't know your name, but you talked about email. What about the citizens? Everybody, especially in your generation, does not have email. They don't have access. That is not, come on now, come on, please, please. That's not to be rude. They don't. I don't do email that well. Yes, it's up and coming. It's not necessarily that you have to eliminate a vehicle. You can add to it. You don't have to eliminate the paper because, like I said, I don't do email very well. I have over 6,000 emails. So, in other words, don't email me if you want me to get your information. So, I'm just saying that needs to be looked at, and I want to see that in writing before November. Also, we talked about that, the traffic stops. We got to do something about that. Are you considering, I really need you to consider redoing that candlelight. I want a police escort. I want a memorial resolution. And I'll get back to you with the rest of my demands. Will visit you, each and every one of you separately. And if you have any questions or comments that you need to address me with, you're more than welcome. I will respond.
John. Thank you. Mr. Abdul.
In response to the memorial resolution, we had not forgotten Armani. It's under my new business.
Okay.
Right after this. We certainly did not forget him. I was proposing him in a new business.
Okay, and I just came up with another thought. Scholarships.
Okay.
We're going to go into
I know we have a lot,
Okay.
you know, just a few. I like your demands. It's a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some more people in the audience might want to say something. Okay. She all right with you guys? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I am going to, I'll come up with some other things and I'll meet with you separately. It doesn't matter, but I just need a little bit more time to think. I just know that this was a good kid.
Yeah.
And this should have never happened.
Right.
Never happened. Never happened. I was counting on him. These are kids, all these kids here are the same kids that were at Rom Elementary when I'm jumping from behind the window of the wall saying, go to class, get to class. You're my anesthesiologist. And he actually was going to be my neurologist. Come on now, my presidents. I'm sorry. These are people, the kids that I would say they can do whatever they want to do, and they're doing it. But the harassment has got to stop. I do want to get information on that November the 27th, 2013, because I haven't gotten an answer yet, and that's ridiculous. And I've been harassed at my house with one of the police officers with a Napoleon complex. I'm having a party for my special needs son. He comes back there yelling and all this other stuff. For what? For what? This is a party of special needs. Who are you impressing? Nobody. So, turn that off. Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Wadsworth.
Just a quick comment into redoing a vigil. Unfortunately, if it didn't go the way that you folks wanted to go that night, I see no problem. Just tell us you want the roads closed, and we'll, you pick the time and come to us, and I'm sure the vigil can be redone.
Okay, that would be great. The candlelight, is that okay with you, family? Yes. Okay, anything else? Okay, and that would be great. Thank you, and have a good evening.
All right, thank you. Mr. Miller?
Yeah, I had planned. Anyway.
Charles Miller, 11439 St. Aloysius, Romulus, Michigan. I want the audience to understand that the harassment that they feel has been felt on both sides. Ms. Clerk, you were involved in it in the former administration, trumping up a charge on me along with the former mayor, harassing me by 3 police officers because I held a sign that said no new taxes. I understand your concerns. Let me paint a small picture for you. The Romulus Police Department is in total disarray. It's had 4 different chiefs in as many years. The former chief, under the previous administration, is under indictment. He is convicted. He will be sentenced very shortly. Along with him is another number of officers who also were under indictment, a number of them convicted, a number of them sentenced. When you look at a community that has a police department that there is no respect for, you are not going to get the kind of cooperation within that community that the police department deserves. Now let me play a devil's advocate for you here. There are some very good Romulus police officers. They work daily to try to do the right thing. But as we see in the past of the number of those, one of the ones that harassed me is now retired, drawing a very good pension from MERS. You cannot allow Gestapo tactics within a police department to generate the kind of anger that a community develops towards its police. Those good police officers need our respect. We need them. I respect and admire what they do. It's difficult. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. Burcroft, you said when, and here's another thing real quick, shortly here for me. As many of you know, I ran for mayor, and I want you to tell you right now, this is not sour grapes for me. I've only been, since the last election, since the mayor took office, this is my 3rd city council meeting that I've been to. I'm here because of the circumstances which have brought me here tonight. These circumstances are the same ones that I felt when I was being harassed by the Romulus Police Department. But those guys are gone now. And thank goodness they are. The new officers that we have, and many of the new officers that we have, need our respect. They need our cooperation. But I'm going to tell you, as long as we continue to stack the city of Romulus with cast-off Wayne County people, we're going to continue to get the same kind of cooperation. The current chief police is a good man. But what we have to understand is he's probably not going to be here much longer either. There's the undertow and current about him possibly retiring. So if that happens, that'll be the 5th one within 4 years. It's time that this administration, this city council, you have a vote. He has no vote. You have a vote, and it's time you understand, in order for us to resolve the problem with the police department in the city of Romulus, it's time to go outside of the state of Michigan and get a new chief. You cannot bring people in here with the politics of Wayne County and put them in a position here and not think that it's influenced. The chief of staff here is a former Wayne County. He was the former chief of police. Now he's the chief of staff. Big chief, I don't know. But it's time you understand the power is in your hands. It's not in his. Do something. Do something. And resolve to alleviate the problems within this police department. And we as citizens will resolve to respect and cooperate with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
My name's Kimberly Amato, 28-year resident of Romulus. I too want to start off with Rest in Paradise, Armani. My question is regarding police chases. Are they legal? Can we do something to make it a law that there is no chase? When the officer seen Armani, he knew it was a kid. There should be no chase, period. They don't end well, they never have. It should not happen in Romulus, it should not happen anywhere. Your officer pulled up on Armani, you had his license plate, you knew where he was, you knew where he was going. You could have picked him up there. He should be here today. No excuses. Beverly could have been blocked off at Merriman, blocked off at Wayne Road. Why? Why was he bumped? Why was he nudged? Why is that a practice? How can we outlaw it? Never happen again. In the name of Armani, please give it consideration. It should not be a practice that we there's things being said on Armani's character. Armani was a very respectful young man, growing into a man. We're talking about a 4.06 GPA at graduation carried all the way through. We're talking about a kid straight through K through 12 in Romulus, put in his time of nonprofit work, was doing good deeds. I'm not saying he didn't do wrong. Doesn't, hasn't, who won't tomorrow. It doesn't deserve what was handed down on him. He deserved his day in court if something was wrong there. It was said in a report by one of the officers, and all in the same breath, in the first days of the reports. One was that it was a routine traffic outing that your officers was on, our officers were on. Said a few sentences more about the teen, and then it said officers responded to several calls is why they were on where they were. Which was it? Were y'all on a routine search of the neighborhood, if you will? I got the wrong word there, but, or were you called to where Armani is? What was it? I'm sorry. You know, I can't even, I can't cry right now because I'm mad. I'm mad at our system. I'm mad at how our cops chose to handle this. I will grieve later. I will grieve this Friday with my best friend. And for Armani, who I had the honor of knowing and the privilege to watch grow from kindergarten through 12th grade. This was a great kid, y'all. I too wanted to, and I know you put it on for a memorial resolution in his honor, something. And we were discussing, and to redo the visual, his funeral is this Friday, August 1st, and we would like to have it that night, if we could, at 8 p.m. at the site. And I thank you.
Thank you.
I actually want to not have my face shown, and I forgot, because this is who's speaking here tonight, okay? Anybody else speaking Armani's name, please grab his shirt. He is here, and he deserves justice, okay? There is justice to be served here. This wasn't cut and dry. There was no reason to nudge him, to bump him. You had his plate. You've dealt with him. You know where he lived, and that's where you should have went. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rest in peace, Armani Gibson. My name is Willis Black. Armani was a close friend of all of ours. It sounds like to me, from everybody who has come up here today, that we are having a serious problem inside of the police department. These guys have sworn to protect and serve, and I'm not hearing it today. From Miss Morgan, sounded like police officer said, we're underpaid, but you, Mr. Wadsworth, say they aren't. They have plenty of police officers. 5 cruisers. I seen 5 people pulled over on the side of the road on my way from the high school to City Hall. There's plenty of officers out there. I tell you what they doing. I tell you why they can't come to your house, Ms. Morgan. They're too busy harassing young teenagers. Whoever the officer is that the police chief is protecting, they won't say his name. They won't tell us the story of what happened. And I tell you why. It's because that officer was in the wrong. Whatever he said to Armani that day, whatever he was bothering him, whatever reason he asked him to get out of his car, he had no reason. He had no real reason. That's why they won't give us a reason. Why did he run? They don't have a reason why he ran. You know why? Sorry, I'm going to do this, you guys. I'm telling. They don't have a reason because they don't want to tell it. The real reason they pulled him over, the real reason they asked him to get out of their car is because they have an abuse of power. You guys need to City Council, Mr. Burcroft, I'm not here against you. This is not my beef with you. Okay? The police department, Romulus, needs to be rearranged. If they don't want to do their job, bring someone else in who will. I'm doing something in my life. I have a calling in my life. My calling is kids. That's what I'm doing. Otherwise, I would be a police officer because I care about people. If you say you care about people and you say you're going to protect and serve people, that is what you should do. That's all we need is change. We need change. They need to change the police department around. I don't, no offense to what my sir was saying about the police chiefs being 5 up, going through in 4 years. Keep going through them until we find the right one. We need to find somebody that's going to hold this city together. Because if we feel like we can't go to the police about our issues, then we will take it in our own hands. If a police officer pulls me over and they try and harass me, if I feel, yes, exactly. If I feel threatened, if I feel like it's me or that officer, that's right, you know what's up. You know what's up. My friends should still be here today. There's no reason they should be gone.
Pardon?
Yes, Mr.
If I can refer this young fellow, the comment was that I said there was enough police officers. I don't feel there are enough police officers. I was upset to hear that the police officer is trying to say that city council members have cut their budget and they can't do their job. That's unacceptable to me. There isn't enough police officers on the street.
Okay.
There, more comments? Yes. Right here. Okay.
This was my heart. This was my heart that they took away. They didn't even have sense enough to let me know where my car is or anything else. My car is still in pound right now. Oh, we can't tell you anything. You took his life. Oh, we can't tell you anything. Romulus, I don't know. I don't know. And y'all doing all the complaints about the stores. None of y'all live in that neighborhood. How can you complain about people standing in front of the store that you're not going in anyway? All of them. All of them. You don't have anything for the young kids here to do anyhow, so why harass them? What you did to my grandson, I'm telling you. Remember me. Look at his face. I'm here. All right? I've been here over 30 years. Never thought they would take my grandson like that. He didn't deserve it. Oh, and where is it that police riding around without lights on? Legal. Hello? Is it legal? Oh, all y'all dumb now. Dumb. Is it legal? My grandson would still be living if they put lights on. Check your cops. That's all I got to say. Check your cops.
Any more comments?
Virginia.
Wait a minute. Then we'll over there.
Hello. Armani was my cousin. He was like a son to me.
When
She
you
was-
give your name and address, just for the
I'm so
records.
sorry, I'm so upset.
Just for the records,
My
that's
name
all.
is Izola Hayes.
Thank you.
27024 Yale Street. I moved from Romulus because my house was broken into, my apartment. I used to stay in the Concords. This is my cousin, and I loved him. And she right, he didn't deserve this. Where was the lights? Where was the lights? Y'all officers is taking matters in their own hands. A lot of them drug testing us. They need to be drug tested. They need to be held accountable for. They are not God. Y'all need to check them out. Pull them in for random drug testing. If it was their son, how would they feel? He didn't deserve this. He did not. His open house was next Saturday. This Saturday coming up. This Saturday. Your officers are wrong, and y'all have to stop protecting them. They got to go down, just like we do. They need to go down because they're not right.
Bowler, and me and Armani, we went to same middle school, same high school. We grew up in the same neighborhood in Birch Run, and I used to hang with him every day. And I don't see no reason why he was harassed by the police, because he wasn't that type of guy. And I don't see why you guys aren't doing anything different, because my sister, her boyfriend is a police, and our family don't even, accept them like that because the way the police are today. And like it all starts up here, and you guys aren't doing anything to like make the police system better. So are we gonna see some changes, or is it just gonna keep going on?
is also my cousin. I'm from Sterling Heights, Michigan. And I had no idea that all of this stuff that I'm hearing is happening in 2014. Okay, I have a 20-year-old, and I can't even imagine what would happen, how I would even respond if something like that happened to my son. Okay, so this really has me stymied, it has me mad, it has me all kind of emotions is happening because, again, my little cousin, he wasn't like that. Okay? And something else that's been flipping over and over in my head, according to the newscast, they said they had been watching this house that had all this information about tires being slashed. So I'm thinking, okay, if they were watching the house, why didn't they continue, the house that he was sitting outside of, why didn't they just continue to watch? Makes sense to me. And just see, does that make sense? Just keep watching the house and just see what's gonna happen. I know myself, I've been in strange neighborhoods or whatever the case may be, pulled over, checked my GPS, sent a text because we're not supposed to text and drive, right? So I pull over, text my text, do all this kind of stuff. So what he was doing, sitting there, none of us will never know because he's gone, right? But is it against the law to sit in front of a house? Right? If there was a suspicion, the officer was surveillancing or whatever he was doing, watching, just continue to watch. And had he got out of the car and slashed tires or whatever they said, now you called him red-handed instead of assuming. So again, we'll never know what happened, okay? And like everybody else has said, he didn't deserve to go like this. All these stories that we're hearing, roadblocks, he stopped on his brakes, whatever the case may be, they had ample opportunities to abide by law, to do the right thing, and just stop and arrest them. Take them in, ask them questions. They did not have to I'm just gonna say it, modern day KKK. Take it with
Hello, my name is Tamara Bowler. And like my brother said, I've been knowing Armani since he was a kid. Not only do we need to respect and have compassion and look out for each other, but we gotta stop harboring hate because we're all family. And that's how we should act, period. It shouldn't be people saying, you know, these people are wrong, because they shouldn't be wrong. It shouldn't be everything negative. Why can't we have a positive meeting? Why are we referring to Armani Gibson and saying, you know, all these great things? We know he's great. You know, he had a lot to contribute to society. He's not just worthless. I know his family, and I know his mother and his auntie. I know his, you know, I know they're not bad people. I know he was brought up right. And I know whatever he was doing, and it doesn't matter, like she said, they didn't catch him red-handed. And if the police had any reason to be in the neighborhood, why didn't they go in the house and have a problem with the people that are doing wrong? Why are they bothering the innocent kids sitting outside the house? Like, what are they scared to go address, like, the real issue, but so they're gonna bother the innocent kid? It's horrible. Like, how can anybody sleep at night and we're losing the youth? How do you sleep? Like, how do you know that people are out doing wrong and you guys are letting them continue? And it ain't like you guys individually are letting them. Like, we're not saying that you guys just say, like, okay, it's your world, you do it.
these people are like abusing their power. And like something has to be done. Like we shouldn't be standing here talking about rest in peace Armani. He's 18. He don't get to make his decisions. He don't get his choices and his chances in life. Sleep on that.
I am Dolores Davis. I'm Armani's grandmother. All I have to say is, you did him wrong. I love him. I think the police department, I'm from Westland, so I can talk about Romulus too. Y'all is wrong. The black men can't even walk down the street without being harassed. Y'all up here sugarcoating it. I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell it like it is. Since I've been in Westland, I have never seen nothing like it in my life. How they do the young men. They stereotype them because they wear curls in their hair. Police watch them. They can't walk down the street. They can't go to the store. They can't do anything without being harassed by the police. And it's wrong. Yes, I'm mad. I'd rather be in Inkster. I came from Inkster for 42 years, and I came to Westland, and I never seen people like this in my life. Since I've been over here, my son was arrested because he wanted to say something. Police went to, he want to arrest him because he want to say something. And they did arrest him because he want to ask a question. They put him in handcuffs. Never been in handcuffs till we come here. He's 38 years old because he want to ask a question. Then the other little one standing over there, he wasn't so bad. But when the other one walk up, he want to take his stuff out and start spraying it. Put him in handcuffs, took him to jail, charged him $500. They number one thing out here I noticed, $500. You pay $500 to start off. By the time you get down there, it's $750. And don't you say nothing else, they got something else going. Every young man I know in my block has been arrested. Since I've been in Westland, I've been out there going on 10 years, and I'm getting ready to leave because I don't like the way things is run. And that's sad to say. I stayed in Inkster 42 years. Right now, they're giving Inkster a bad name. As I look around today, Romulus, all of them is the same when it come down to these young black men. I'm not being prejudiced. I am saved. I am a Christian. But one thing for sure, you're harassing the black men too much. Give them a break. Get off their back. They can't do nothing. My grandbaby, he been down. My two nephews been down. When they come out to make arrests, the one that did the problem don't go no place. But the one that should go to jail don't go. But they take them to jail. And I don't think it's fair. I'm tired of paying $500. Seems like that shall be getting fee, $500. And I'm tired. And I'm going to leave Westland because you don't know how to treat people. And you have really railroaded my family. My nephews, my grandsons, and my son. Armani was my grandson, and you did a double on him. You did a double on him. You didn't have to do him the way you did him. The Bible said, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. She's going to fix it. You need to get these corrupted officers out. And when they come to you, to these young men, why is it that they don't show their badge? Why do they have to cover their badge over? Why do they have to cover it up? You don't even know who they are. They're hiding something. You need to get them together. I'm going to pray for all y'all. Y'all need prayer. I'm going to pray for you. And just stop talking about Inkster, because you ain't no better.
No. Wait. Okay. If there's no more, I'm gonna have Ms. Williams for the last comments. Unless Ms. Williams, unless someone else hasn't talked yet.
Good evening, Gina Wilson Stewart, Telegram newspaper, 10748 West Jefferson. We're based in River Rouge. I didn't know Armani, but my heart goes out to the family and the community as well. I do want to encourage everyone here to just stay involved in what's going on. A lot of eyes out telling the same story will always be helpful when the story is actually told. So I want to just remind everybody to stay involved and make sure the room is packed like this all the time, not just when something tragic happens. News happens every day, good and bad, but it takes people to get involved, have their voices heard, to get some rectification to the issues. That's just what I wanted to say. But I was up here because I wanted to know what issue number 3 was, request approval of the traffic control order. I know it passed, but I didn't know exactly what that is. I want to know, how can I find that out?
I can respond to that.
Yes, Ms. Choke.
The traffic control order is the one that Ms. Morgan had asked about. It's for placement of no parking fire lane signs on the fire hydrant side of the roads in the fairways at Gateway subdivision, and that's in accordance with Chapter 22, Section 50, the Romulus Code of Ordinances.
Okay, thank you.
It's just fire lane closure.
Okay, all right, and the second question, or the comment that I wanted to make, dealt with the city charter that Ms. Williams talked about and not having things published in the newspaper. As you guys know, I just said I'm for the Telegram newspaper, and I do know the little paper has decided not to publish, but the Telegram newspaper has been published since 1944. We celebrate our 70th anniversary this year, and we are distributed in the city of Romulus and have been for the last 5 years. As the little paper was definitely in print paper, we are in print. We're also online for the people who like to read the newspaper online, and the bids can be seen throughout the world because it's the World Wide Web. But we're also on Facebook and Twitter. So the Telegram newspaper have morphed into a newspaper of the century. So not only do I think that you should not go forward with not having the bids published in the newspaper, you just need to make sure it's the right newspaper. And I think the Telegram, as we've displayed several years, we've displayed that we do cover ample news, we cover good news, we'll let the community know what's going on, and we're available online and in print at numerous gas stations and liquor stores in the city of Romulus, at Keggers and Metro House and the Romulus City Market right there on Wayne Road. So you can pick it up there. Right? That's the Telegram.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna have Ms. Williams, you want to come up one more time, and then
Virginia Williams. I heard what Captain Shelby said when he got up and gave his spiel. I was the resident, the family member that called the city. I called the chief of police, I called the building director, Bob McCray, and I called Captain Shelby and asked, can we get the road blocked off on Friday for the visual? And I did it because the only way not to violate that homeowner where the accident stopped was to get the city involved. Got no involvement. None. They sent out, I mean, I didn't hear anything back, and that was first thing Friday morning. It's after almost 4:45. And that was from John Thede, one of the firemen. And he said he was instructed to not block the road off. Well, I know, as well as most of you know, that all it took was to get 4 members of the councils to vote yes. Okay? You got all their cell phone numbers. I'm sure all they have cell phone numbers. But no one chose to do that. So now it's because you got an audience. Now you want to redo it. But we put you in office to do it right the first time. I knew what I was doing. Mayor, I know you was at home sick, they said. But you could have made a call and said, let's get this done. It wasn't because of me. You don't have to retaliate against me. This was a situation where the people wanted to come together and pay their respects. The homeowner that didn't know any of us gave us that time to be all up on their property, okay? The road needed to be blocked off. The fire trucks was not what it took. We needed the road blocked off so we can block the traffic from coming up or down. I'm smarter than a 5th grader. I knew what I was doing. That's why I started as soon as I hit the floor. Okay? And it's okay now because what's done is done. But the next time this happens, and hopefully it doesn't, the city should do what's right. Don't pretend because you see a crowd, but do what's right when we're not even there. Okay? The reason I got involved for a lot of these people here in the city council meeting that don't even know. I was assaulted in 2009 over my right to vote. You know, Mr. Burkroft, just kind of involved. So I didn't take it, and I asked the people here, don't take it and turn it into anger, okay? Use it as a way to reach others, okay? Use it. We as parents, we don't need the elected officials. We don't need none of them. We need each other as a community to gather together, meet and educate our children, okay, our neighbor children on the law, what they can, they can't do, what to expect. So when situations happen, they can have someone to go to, okay? Because the kids get in trouble, they don't think the parents care, so they just brush it off. So what we need to do as a community, as mothers, fathers, grandparents, grandfathers, is get together with each other. Once we come up with a solution, then we can bring it to the council, to the mayor, for them to get involved, because they can't raise our kids. We have to do it. But I ask that the council, Mr. Wadsworth, thank you so much for calling and offering your condolence to the family. Mr. Wadsworth was out of town when this happened, but as soon as he heard about it, he called me and told me to offer the family the condolence. I appreciate that, and I know it came from the heart. The rest of you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I called personally. I called him personally.
I'm talking about me, Mr. Barton.
I'm talking about me because you said none of us called.
I'm talking about who contacted me, Mr. Barton. Stop trying to get brownie points, okay? I'm talking to...
I'm not getting no brownie points.
Okay, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is I called the parents. That's what I'm saying.
You know what? You heard about the issue, right? Now you want to go there? So why didn't you address it, Mr. Barton?
I wasn't contacted.
You wasn't contacted by no city official?
No.
Oh, really?
Really?
Mayor?
No, I'm talking about of the incident.
That's what I'm saying. You wasn't contacted?
No.
None of you council people was contacted about this incident? Mayor? You didn't contact the elected officials, the executive body about this situation?
Sorry, could I just ask a clarification? Sorry, Mrs. Williams, do you mind if I just, we did receive a press release.
Okay.
Information from Mr. Leacher.
Okay.
Also, yeah, we got it through an email. One thing I just want to clarify, I don't think that we're allowed, based on the Open Meetings Act, to do any offline voting. We have to do it in the public forum. Just a clarification. We want to keep everything transparent, so we cannot do a vote to do things.
You're not talking to Santa Claus. As many laws as y'all done broke up in this piece. You couldn't tell me under this tragedy, You talking about the Open Meeting Act. Because why? Because you were accused of violating Open Meeting Act? I would have stuck up for you because it was a tragedy. How many times do we have a travesty in this city, Sylvia? Okay, there's no excuses. I'm done making excuses. Mr. Burton, Sylvia just said y'all was a press release. You didn't get it?
Well, we got it after the fact. I got after the fact. I would have contacted them. As soon as
But
I got
you
information, I contacted the family. You said that no council member called, but only Mr. Wadsworth called you. I'm not going to sit up and argue with you.
I'm not going to argue with you, but you the one said you wasn't contacted.
At that time, no.
Okay, clear it. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying, is I contacted
Stop
the family.
being so quick to make yourself look big when we know what you're doing. Okay? So man up. Man up.
Well, you lady up. Lady up. Okay, no more comments. We'll close this part out. Thank you.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9 is new business.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
at this time, I would like to make a motion for a memorial resolution for the family of Armani Gibson.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a memorial resolution for Armani Gibson.
Armani.
Gibson. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Mr. Chair, may I ask that we also, let's see, I'm not sure how to say this, but mainly support the candlelight vigil Friday, August 1st at 8 p.m., what the family needs as far as the road closure. I'd like to propose that.
I'll
Make a
support that.
motion. Yes.
The motion by Mr. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for candlelight visual. Mr. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo? Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Now, I'd like to say something. I don't hide anything. I did call the family, left word, my condolences. I'm not trying to get up here and make no brownie points. I speak from the heart. I know this is a sad situation. I lost my brother, 3 family members in 1 year. I feel the heart, the hurt. But to be accused of something that I didn't do, and as far as the store, I wasn't the councilman that said, get him away from the store. I wasn't. So I'm just gonna leave it on the line, and don't say I'm trying to be bigger than anybody. I'm just being as truthful as I can. And you always have my support, and anything you can call me, I'll follow up on all my stuff. If I'm wrong, let me know, and I'll correct it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to make a comment. I think that we as a council want to know what happened and why it happened just as much as you do. That's why we've asked the state police to investigate. It's no longer in the Romulus police hands, so there will be no cover-up. We've asked them to come in and take a look. They're going to look at the dashboard camera. They've impounded the cars, everything involved. So no one in the Romulus Police Department can hide anything. I want to know as much as you do. I know very little, truthfully. I've read the reports. I read conflicting reports. I want to know what really happened. And hopefully the state police will get us back with us with a thorough report.
Mr. Chairman, just
Yes.
on a request that came from an audience member on the police escort, I would like to hear from the family and respect their wishes, just so that we do what they would like, if they would like that.
Right.
And we can work with PD, but we want to be sensitive to what they would prefer. So If they would let us know, we'd be happy to try to oblige.
So Mrs. Gibson, it's your call. It's your guy, it's your call. Okay. Okay. Okay, so, the mayor, they would get with Mrs. Gibson and Mr. Gibson to take care of you. Madam Clerk?
If there's no more new business, number 10 is communication.
On the communications, I thought I was finished, but I just want to say another thing to the Gibson family. Amani and my nephew, good friends. So you know where I'm coming from. I don't like to be accused of anything. I'm a Christian too. I know what people are trying to do also. You know, I'm kind of smart. I might not be smart as a 5th grader, but 6th grader I'm pretty good. See, so you have my condolences and thank you.
Mr. Barden?
Yes.
If I could, you know, I had some other things to talk about, but that can wait to the next meeting. You know, the public tonight spoke from their heart. Right. And there's a lot of concerns here, a lot of deep concerns, and I think Mayor, along with his council and the police department, we've got to sit down and talk with some of these folks on a face-to-face and not in this type of atmosphere where sometimes people will use the television camera for their own benefit. I believe there's got to be some type of a meeting set up. You know, working in law enforcement for 38 years, a police chase was always ended up with a negative response. And I know our department doesn't have it, has a no chase policy, but I think there were many concerns here tonight. I've got grandkids that are in the Romulus schools. I have some in the grade school. I have one that goes in the 11th grade. And everybody needs respect, you know, and some of the concerns that I was told tonight that, you know, certain council people are telling, you know, to go crack down on this or crack down on that. We have no right up here to tell the police what to do. There are laws that the police are out there to enforce and to help people. And I do take offense when be it any city worker tries to point blame on somebody else for something that they don't want to take care of. And I think that's a real issue that we have to address. You know, I've got some very deep concerns over this. And you know, to lose a child, we were quite lucky to raise 3 sons all the way to adulthood and see them flourish. Well, they flourish with 4 grandkids. And some days that's good, some days that's bad, but it's got to hurt you, and I feel for you.
Thank you, Mr. Weiser. Madam Clerk.
Number 11 for approval is warrant 14-14.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Cho.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 14-14 in the following amounts. General operating funds, $57,068.36. Major street fund, $37,354.46. Local street fund, $167.40. Cable, $97.76. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $8,763.98. Sanitation Fund, $83,330.97. Narcotics Enforcement Fund, $1,200.47. Water and Sewer, $78,546.85. Motor Vehicle Fund, $61,176.41. Technology Services, $7,859.55. Retirees Insurance Benefits, $259,580.29. Property and Liability Self-Insurance, $504, and no cents. Payroll fund, $472,698.82, for a total of $1,572,26.32.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choke, supported by Mr. Kraut, to pay warrant number 14-14 for $1,572,026.32. Ms. Choke.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo. Chair votes yes, warrant 14-14 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth. Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choke.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned.